Hey guys, it's Jasmine. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. And today I'm going to be talking about budgeting and saving money and just a little bit of a guide for if you're planning on moving out, or maybe you already have and didn't think it through all the way. That's what I did. I was so desperate to move out that I literally just packed a bag and left. And so today I want to talk about all the things that I wish I knew beforehand, or things that I had to learn very quickly when I first moved out, all about money. So thank you so much for the people who have requested this video. If you find it helpful, please don't forget to subscribe and give it a thumbs up so I know that you like it. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. And without further ado, let's talk about money and how to save it and how to manage it and how to spend it and all that good stuff. So the first thing I'm going to say is do not feel bad if you feel like overwhelmed or if you feel like you have no idea what you're doing, because I honestly feel like the more that I live alone and the more things I'm picking up, the more I realize that everyone is kind of just like figuring it out as they go along. Like no one really knows what they're doing, and I am the type of person where I want to plan everything and I want to know exactly how it's gonna work, and I want to, do you know what I mean? Like I just am a control freak, and I'm the person who will like plan out. Like I have my next literally 11 years of my life planned out. So I'm not the type of person to be like, oh whatever, like we'll see. No. But the more I live and the more I adult, the more I'm realizing that you can't really plan everything. You really don't know how it's gonna go until you do it. So you know, watch as many videos as you can, read as many articles as you can about budgeting. But if you are someone who is thinking about moving out and you're like, oh, I just don't know, do not feel like you need to know everything. The only way to know things is by experience. So that was just my little tangent, my little ramble. Something I wish I knew is that it's okay not to know everything, is what I'm trying to say. So I wrote a little list because I tried to make this video with no planning, preparation, or anything, and I just rambled for 5 minutes straight. So hopefully this will keep me on track. The first thing I want to talk about is how are you going to spend your money in a month. This is how you do it, okay? So you're gonna write down on a piece of paper all your expenses and bills you're gonna have. Everyone's expenses and bills are going to be different. I enjoy drinking coffee and going to Starbucks and going to cafes, but maybe you don't like cafes, and vice versa. Like maybe you really enjoy your gaming subscription. I don't like gaming. So do you know what I mean? You're gonna write down everything that you want to spend your money on, your hard-earned money. You're gonna write down what you want to spend it on and a rough estimate of how much. If you're not sure, it's always better to overestimate than to underestimate. So first you're gonna write down all of those expenses, okay? And some examples of expenses that might be common for you if you're like, I have no idea what I'm gonna be spending my money on. Let me just tell you, okay? There's rent. There's utilities. Sometimes utilities are included in your rent. If you're looking at an apartment, that's something that you definitely want to know, because that will really affect your budgeting. A good rule of thumb that I did mention in my last video, but I think it's really important to know, is that you don't want to be spending more than about 1/3 of your monthly income on your rent, including utilities. So try to stay below 1/3 of your monthly income. And if you have roommates, that is not including their portion. So whatever you specifically will be paying on your rent, you don't want to be spending more than 1/3 of what you make in a month, including utilities. Don't forget that, that's important. Okay, and then you're gonna have to buy food. So whether you'll be grocery shopping or you'll be eating out a lot, make a rough estimate on how much you spend per month and then write that down. You're going to probably need clothes. Even though you're not like a big shopper, you know, you will have to buy socks and underwear and t-shirts and things like that. You know, clothes don't last forever, so make yourself a little budget for that. Next, you're gonna have household items, especially if you haven't moved out yet, if you're in the planning stage. I did not realize like how many things you really truly need to buy. Like you need toilet paper, you need paper towels, you need pots and pans, you need sometimes, okay, so the first time I moved, you know, I slowly acquired everything that I need to live, right? The second time moving, I didn't realize that there's no freaking microwave in my second apartment, so I had to buy a microwave, which I never really thought about. So Make yourself a budget for that. Soap, laundry detergent. These are things that if you live at home, you don't even realize that your parents buy for you. And you're like, what? I have to spend money on that? But yes, you do. Sneaky, I know. Next, you're gonna have insurance. If you drive a car, you're gonna have car insurance. And if you are renting, you're gonna need renter's insurance. It's not expensive. You can buy it for the whole year, or you can pay per month. Is about $8, I think, per month. It's not a lot, but it's still an expense, and every expense adds up. So as much as you can think about, write it all down. There's Wi-Fi and internet. Another thing where I was just like, oh, I just have it. No, you need to pay for it. And it's kind of expensive. Wi-Fi and TV subscription was costing us about $100 a month, a little bit more than $100 a month. So recently we just cut that, which I will be talking about later in this video, more tips on how to save money. And then there are just month-to-month things like speeding tickets, medical expenses, things like that where you can't plan for it, but you might have to pay for that. Go ahead and write that down. And if you are wanting to work on your savings account, I would consider that like a bill. So say you want to save like $100 a month, I would write down savings, $100, because that is the best way to make sure that you are getting your savings in, to treat it like a bill. Because if you don't think about it and you're just like, oh, I'll save my money, it's not gonna happen. So go ahead and write that down if that's something that you want to work on. And then lastly, our debt payments, whether it's student loans, credit card bills, maybe medical bills that have been creeping up on you. Like, write those all down and decide how much per month you're going to be putting into those accounts. So I say accounts because you can think about it like every bill, you have to keep putting money into it, or else, yeah. Okay, moving on. So next, you're going to write down how much you make per month and the dates. Don't forget to take your taxes out, because if you're budgeting and including your taxes, you will be very sad when you actually get paid and realize that you don't have as much money as you thought. So it's better to always overestimate your bills and underestimate your paycheck, and that way you will be safe. All right, so if you take your income money, subtract your expenses from it, that's how much you have left for the month. What you want to do with it is totally up to you, whether you want to save the rest or you want to spend the rest. Or maybe you don't even consider like clothes an expense to you, and you're only going to spend your remaining money on clothes. However you want to manage your money is totally up to you. But this is just like the basic way of how I would organize my thoughts, if that makes sense. So everyone is going to have different expenses, like I said, but income minus expenses equals remaining money. And yeah. Okay, I hope this is really helpful. There's just so much to talk about when it comes to money that I'm just a little like I have so many thoughts, okay. Next, I want to talk about some tips for how to save money. Because when you think about it, like, oh, how do you manage your money? It was a really short answer. Income minus expenses equals rest of my money. And you just put in whatever you want to put in each category. Okay, so some tips I have to save money. These are all things that I wish I knew before I moved out, or things that I would have found helpful when I first moved out. Is to shop at the dollar store, which if you've never been to a dollar store, you are missing out, because they have a lot of stuff. Even when we moved out, we bought a lot of things at IKEA, which is already really discounted. But when you're first moving out, there's a lot of things that you need to live that you probably don't have unless someone else bought it for you, which if they did, you're lucky. But anyways, dollar stores have really good items, like household items like dishes and tongs and things like that you'll need, as well as just paper, pens, calendars, cleaning supplies, sponges, tinfoil, or a discount store like TJ Maxx or something like that, where they take brand named things and things that will be twice as expensive at another store. They discount it for you and they show you their savings. So TJ Maxx could be a really good place to buy furniture or clothes if you need it, bathrobes, soap, things like that. And you can find furniture on OfferUp Or I'd be careful about this, but Craigslist, you know, always make sure you're meeting at safe places with someone else. Don't ever go alone. And yeah. And then my next tip is to DIY, so you don't have to make everything from scratch. Personally, I did. I made my own bed and dining room table. I'll show you. It's really messy, but I made that. And it was a lot cheaper than buying a table because you never realize how expensive furniture is until you have to buy it yourself, and then you're like, what the heck? Why is this table at like $200? So yeah, make things. There's tutorials online. Honestly, making furniture is not that hard. Like, you kind of just take wood and put it together how you think it should go. Like table, 4 legs, post, plank. You know what I mean, okay? So it's not that hard, I swear. You can DIY your things, or you can take something, piece of furniture, like on Craigslist or whatever, and sand it down if maybe you don't like the color, and paint it over. It could look like a totally brand new item. That poof in the background was red, and I just covered it with like a faux fur, and now I love it. And it just fits with my decor, and it was super cheap. And yeah, and those roses, I actually put those together from the dollar store too. So DIY as much as you can. Next, there are coupons and apps. Especially when I first moved out, I actually didn't have a job, so I had to be very like hands-on with how I was managing my money, like Ibotta to get money back and cash back. So if you have more time on your hands, that is a really good way to save some money. My next tip would be to meal prep. Eating out costs a lot of money, and even if like you don't meal prep, if you're just gonna take it day by day, but you're gonna make your meals, when you're super hungry, it's really easy to go to the grocery store and overspend and overestimate what you're gonna eat. So if you have your meals planned out, and if you make your meals in bulk, like let's say you make dinner, you can just make double the amount and have dinner for the next day, and that way you're saving money by not overspending when you're hungry. If that makes sense. I really hope you guys know what I'm talking about. And then another tip I have for you is, as much as you can, use free services. So for example, internet and cable, it was really handy and useful to have it at home, but spending over $100 a month on that isn't really worth it in my opinion. You always can go to a library, you can go to like places where there's free Wi-Fi, Starbucks, like malls, cafes, things like that. Yeah, you're probably like, well, I have to pay for the coffee then. Well, you can always order the cheapest thing on the menu, or it might be kind of awkward, but not order anything at all. Just go to Starbucks with like a really big lobby. No one will even notice. Yeah, so just go to places where they have free services, and that way you won't have to pay for them at home. And last but not least, stay in. So instead of going out with your friends, you can have like potluck dinners, which are still really fun and actually more like intimate, and you can have more quality conversations and things like that and spend more quality time when you're with your friends. I wouldn't do that every single time I hang out, but even if you just do it half the time, that'll save you so much money. Just have everyone bring like one dish, and that's like a really fun way to spend time with your friends. Like, I actually did that when I first moved out, and everyone really loved it, and everyone was like, why don't we do this more? So yeah. And then instead of going to the movie theaters, you can rent a movie and have like blankets and pillows and have like a movie night. That would be so fun. Or have like popcorn. Ooh, and you can like drizzle like caramel and chocolate and stuff, and it'd be really good. And you know, you can buy candy at like Costco in like bulk, and you don't have to pay freaking $4 for like a tiny ass box of chocolates. You know, movie prices, no thank you. And yeah, I think that's it. I can talk about money forever and budgeting forever, but I think this is the basics. I'm sorry if it was a little bit confusing. I ramble a lot, you know, lots of thoughts going on. So I really hope you guys learned something. Again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I really love reading your guys' comments, and yeah. Oh my god, I'm so weird. I only have like 100 subscribers, and it kind of like makes me a little bit emotional because I'm like, what the heck? 100 people want to talk to me. Like, that is crazy. Okay, I am done with this video, so I'm gonna go now before I completely tangent forever. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day. And okay, one last note before I go is I know that it seems really impossible sometimes to move out and to start your own life and to fulfill your own dreams, but honestly, just do it. Like, plan as much as you can, and then you just gotta take the leap and just do it, because no one is gonna be 100% prepared to start their own life until you freaking just do it. And that's just something that I've just been thinking about lately, is how much you can't really plan for the future. You just gotta be like, I'm gonna do this, and then you just gotta do it. Okay? Okay. Alright. I love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye!